Hi, this is John Rosenhead, the Jerusalem psychotherapist. So this week has been an extra difficult and intense week in Israel, obviously with the war between Israel and Iran, with the citizens, without exception, throughout the whole country, being woken up in the early hours of the morning, different hours during the day, having to run to the shelters, with the missiles being sent over from Iran. And this has plunged Israel and the citizens of Israel into a situation which is difficult for a number of different reasons, whether it's on a physical level, just due to the lack of sleep and exhaustion, and also on an emotional level, through the anxiety and the worry and the concern and the stress. And at this point, perhaps it can bring up a question of how and what is the most effective way to receive support during this time, during this difficult period. How can a person receive mental health support? So this is actually even more difficult and a pressing question, because during this week, services have stopped. People haven't gone many places. The work has closed. Schools have closed. So therefore, people are left alone with themselves. They aren't really able to reach out and go to therapy. People don't really have the privilege at this time, this pressing time, of just being able to reach out, have a meeting, a discussion, a talk with a mental health professional in order to have received the necessary support. So this brings us to the question of whether nowadays, whether the artificial intelligence, Chat GPT for example, whether that can replace a therapist, whether a person can use the AI services and platforms to be able to receive mental health support. And this is a discussion that's been raised recently, and it's somewhat controversial, to see whether a person can use this interaction, this digital interaction, as a way of gaining support. So it can be argued, and some people say, is that it's actually quite a good tool, in particular in these times where in the middle of the night, in the early hours of the morning, and you're feeling anxious and stressed, you can't just go to a therapist, but you can open your phone and you can use ChatGPT in a way to express yourself, express your worries and concerns. And ChatGPT, the AI, is designed and gives back responses that are designed to help you, and it actually can be a very useful tool. There is an accepted view that AI or ChatGPT is a good tool. It can be very effective, and it's readily available. So therefore, in these times where a person finds themselves alone and stressed and worried, sitting in a miklat, in their shelter, in the middle of the night when they're all alone and tired, they can use this tool, their phone, AI, to gain necessary immediate mental health support. But the counter argument is that ChatGPT or any other AI platform is a machine. It's technology. It can't replace the nuanced quality of the human interaction that exists within therapy, the therapeutic relationship that develops between a client and the therapist, and the way that a therapist can actually pay attention and monitor not just the words, but also the behavior and the tone and the intonations of a person, what they're expressing verbally and also non-verbally. A human being, a therapist, is able to think in a more abstract way. Is able to challenge in a productive and in an effective way a person's thoughts and mindsets and beliefs that ChatGPT is not able to do, but rather, in contrast, ChatGPT or AI is designed in a way to feed back in an effective way, in an accurate way, you could say. It feeds back based on the questions that a person asks. So it's lacking the nuances and the complexity of the human interaction that is so critical to the therapeutic relationship. So if you put in a question to ChatGPT, you'll get an answer back which is tailored and designed based on, and it's built on, the wording and the way that you've expressed the question. And this is interesting, and this can actually relate to this week's Parasha Shelach, that the Bnei Yisrael the Meraglim was sent into Canaan to spy out the land. And the question is asked whether HaKadosh Baruch Hu supported this this mission. It's the wording and the way it's presented in Psukim. It's a little bit ambiguous. In some way, it seems to be that Hashem did support it, but Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky points out that the Bnei Yisrael, if they had truly believed in what should have been ideally, if they truly believed in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, and they'd expressed their concerns or believed in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, they wouldn't have needed to ask, or they would have received the necessary support and reassurance from the Kodesh Baruch Hu. What they did is that they asked the Urim V'Tumim. The Urim V'Tumim obviously had a holiness to it and a way of communicating with Kodesh Baruch Hu, but lahavdil, it's like asking AI or Chat GPT as opposed to the human interaction or the relationship. The relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu was lacking. And Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky says that the Urim V'Tumim didn't say, yes, you should go to spy out Canaan, but rather the Bnei Yisrael asked who should go. They fed the question, who should go to spy out the land, and they were given an answer. They were told these are the people from the Shvatim, who the leaders of the Shvatim, representatives, who should go in and spy out as being Meraglim. So they fed a question and they received a response based on the question. So here we can see, based on what Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky was saying, is that there was a deficiency in a sense in the relationship. There was something which was lacking in asking a certain question through Urim V'Tumim as opposed to having this relationship in a direct connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This can parallel, in a sense, the way of receiving support and the questions that you ask to Chat GPT and getting an answer, as opposed to the intricacy and the complexity that exists within the therapeutic relationship. So yes, Chat GPT is certainly a useful tool, and yes, it can be very beneficial for people who are struggling at the moment and are looking for immediate support that is readily available, but it can't replace the therapeutic relationship. Have a good Shabbos and keep well.